Hey guys, what's up? This is White Boy for the win, and today I have another Pokemon X and Y team review for you guys. Now, I've been working with this team for roughly around 3 to 4 days now, and all I've been doing was just battling on Showdown, just switching Pokemon in and out, and also switching moves around to see what would work, and I finally finalized this team last night. So all I've been doing was just trying to ladder on Showdown, and I've won 90% of my battles, and I actually maybe lost maybe once or twice, but that was just because of my stupidity and just lost them on accident. So there are 6 weaknesses among this team, which are Bug, Water, Flying, Ground, Psychic, and Fairy. Now, I know that may seem like a lot of weaknesses, but this team can pretty much cover everything. So this is actually a Smogon based tier team. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, White Boy, why are you making a Smogon based tier team when you know you hate Smogon with a passion? Well, I may have said that in the future, but I have to take back what I said because I am in love with Smogon's UU tier. This is actually a UU tier based team which consists of Mega Absol, Feraligatr, Espeon, Infernape, Machamp, and Arcanine. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking about each Pokemon and what I've done and what I've given it and stuff like that. So let's just get right into it, and we're going to talk about Mega Absol first. So every time I make a team, I always use just like the same Megas over and over again, which is like probably any of them, both of the Mega Charizard, Mega Medicham, Mega Aggron, and I believe that's pretty much it. Oh, and Mega Blastoise. Now, I wanted to branch off and use different Megas, and one of the Megas I've been wanting to use for a while is Mega Absol, and I love Mega Absol. Now, I used to hate it at first just because of its design. It just turned me off, but besides its design, it shocks me like how well it does in battle. So this is pretty much the standard set for Mega Absol because I really never used it before, so I kind of wanted to go with a set people already use, which is Sucker Punch, Fire Blast, Play Rough, and X Scissor. Now, I'm not sure about Play Rough and X Scissor because I pretty much think that the most common set for a Mega Absol is Sucker Punch, Knockoff, Superpower, and I believe either Flamethrower or Ice Beam. And I kind of wanted to make it my own and use Play Rough and X Scissor just for like if I run into any dragon types or if I run into any like dark types or anything like that, I can actually pretty much take care of it with Play Rough and X Scissor. Now, I am in love with the mixed Absol because no one really ever expects it, honestly, because usually like when I encounter a team with like has a hazard Pokemon, which is most likely Fortress, they usually go out to Fortress and I lead out with my Absol, and I usually just Mega Evolve and Fire Blast because no one really switches out thinking that I am a special, or should I say a mixed Absol, because usually Absols carry knockoff and mine does not, and I pretty much got them in the back because usually what they do is I go for Fire Blast when I Mega Evolve, and then they go for like Stealth Rocks or something like that, and pretty much fucks them over without the Rapid Spinner because usually the only Rapid Spinner they have is either Fortress or Blastoise, and sometimes some of the teams have both Fortress and Blastoise, or they just have one or the other, and most of the time it's probably Blastoise. But when I do come across like a Fortress, Fire Blast does come in handy. So the EV spread I actually have for this is 252 in attack, 32 in special attack, and 224 in speed with the naive nature. This is pretty much the standard EV spread for Mega Absol. And like I said before, I never used the Mega Absol before, so I kind of had to use someone else's set as well, but also make it my own with a little twist with the moves. But other than that, this is pretty much a standard Mega Absol set. So there is Mega Absol. I'm pretty much, I don't have to stay on here so you guys can look because it's pretty much the standard set. So next one we're going to move on to is Feraligatr. Now, I also wanted to use Feraligatr, and I really never used one before. Like I say, I just used it for funsies. I never really actually had it on a team, and I also wanted to use Feraligatr. So this is a common set as well, just because I never really used it for Alligator. So I have the Life Orb on it with the Taunt ability. Sadly enough, you can't have Sheer Force. That would have been the best ability for it. But it has the same moves: Dragon Dance, Ice Punch, Aqua Jet, and Earthquake. Now at first, instead of Aqua Jet, I had Waterfall, but Aqua Jet is way better move for just for this team, just because I come across like a lot of Darmanitans as well. So Aqua Jet does come in handy for those Darmanitans, because usually what I do is actually that when I switch into Feraligatr, or I lead off with Feraligatr, I usually can get a Dragon Dance off, and then I just spam either Aqua Jet, Ice Punch, or Earthquake. And with +1 Aqua Jet with a Light Orb can pretty much, I believe, take out a Darmanitan. So Aqua Jet is like the better move for it. Now it's the same EV spread as you would see on a regular Feraligatr. Jolly Nature with max attack, 28 HP, and 228 in speed. Like I said, I never really used a Feraligatr before, so I kind of had to use someone else's set. But pretty much, Feraligatr is a pretty good Pokemon in this team. So there's nothing really else I can say about Feraligatr other than it's the same exact set you would see on a regular Feraligatr. So I'm just going to move on to the next Pokemon. Okay, so the next Pokemon is Espeon. Now, I know you've seen my Espeon in quite a few of my battles. Espeon is my favorite evolution, and when I heard this thing was in UQ, I was like, I gotta have this thing on my team. Now, I didn't want to use the same set I've always run with, leftovers, and stuff like that, so I wanted to make this a different Espeon. So I actually have the Focus Sash on it just because I do come across a lot of dark types, and they usually try to get rid of my Espeon and my Mega Absol first because they both have Magic Bounce. Now, I am not a big fan of like rapid spins whatsoever because when I was actually making this team, I had Donphan and I didn't really like it because they really didn't fit well in the team. Then I had Fortress, which that didn't work out too well. And then I just had a regular Blastoise, and that didn't work out too well either. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have 2 Magic Bouncers on this team. And the 2 Magic Bouncers are pretty amazing on this team just because sometimes my opponent tries to get rid of them first because they want to get the hazards up on my side as well, obviously. And when I switch out into either Espeon or Mega Evolve with Mega Absol, they usually just try to knock me out in one attack. But I do have the Focus Sash on this Espeon. So what I usually do is that I switch on to Espeon or I lead out with Espeon just because it has the Magic Balance, and then I set up the Reflect. Now, the reason why I have Reflect over like Light Screen or both have Light Screen and Reflect is because I do run Calm Mind on this set as well, because this is kind of like an offensive Espeon as well with Psychic and Dazzling Gleam. And since Calm Mind raises my special attack and my special defense, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to have Reflect over Light Screen just because I am going to get a +1 from the Calm Mind, so it's really not needed for Light Screen. Now, the next move I run is Psychic. Obviously it's Stab, and I do have a chance to lower my opponent's special defense. And the last move I run is Dazzling Gleam. Now, I actually had Shadow Ball, and then I was like, you know what, Shadow Ball ain't really working. Well, it was working, but I didn't really want to run it. And then I was like, you know what, nothing else is working, so I had Shadow Ball on it, and it wasn't working at all as I would like it to be. So, and then I had HP Fighting, and I was like, this may work because I do come across some few dark types and steel types and stuff like that, and I was like, this ain't working because I see a lot of Pokemon with like base 110 speed, and I'm always getting outsped just because of that 1 point in minus speed from the HP Fighting. So like, that ain't gonna work. So I decided to put Dazzling Gleam on just because I come across a lot of fighting types, a lot of dragon type, and a lot of dark types, and Dazzling Gleam really does do the job. So Dazzling Gleam is like the best move I can put on it just for coverage. Now, the EV spread is kind of the same. I do have 252 in special attack and speed, but instead of 4 in HP or special defense, I decided to have it in physical defense because I do run the Reflect, and I need the extra bulk to that because usually sometimes they use like Shadow Sneak or a physical move like Flare Bullets, for example, so I kind of need the extra buff into its physical defense. So with 1 Reflect up with 4 in physical defense, it pretty much can take any physical attack. Well, not any physical attack, but it can pretty much take a physical attack. So it has a timid nature, so this is pretty much kind of like the standard EV spread for an Espeon, just with different moves and stuff. So I'm actually going to move on to the next Pokemon, which is Infernape. Now, I was actually thinking about this set, and I just love Special Infernape because usually everyone expects a physical Infernape when this is actually a special, because usually what happens is that when I actually send out Infernape, they usually toxic it and they're like, ha, now Infernape's useless. But think again, this is a special Infernape, and with a Focus Sash. Okay, because Focus Sash Infernape with the, or should I say, a special Focus Sash Infernape is such a boss, okay? It's so fucking good. Because usually what I do is get up a nasty plot knowing that I can live a hit regardless because of the Focus Sash, and or depending on if my opponent has hazards up and I switch out and I really can't set up. But with a +4 in special attack, a Vacuum Wave can pretty much take out a Florges with 2 Vacuum Waves, or I believe with 1 Heat Wave. That's just the power of a special Infernape. Okay, because I was actually thinking about this set, and this set actually works because I have Nasty Plot, Vacuum Wave, Grass Knot, and Heat Wave. Nasty Plot obviously because I want to get my attack up, my special attack up. Vacuum Wave is the exact same thing as Mach Punch, but a special move. Grass Knot because obviously Infernape's very weak to water and ground and stuff, and Grass Knot does one-shot a Mega Blastoise and a Suicune at +4 and at +2, I believe, so that also works as well. And Heat Wave just because I don't like Flamethrower, because if I know my Pokemon can learn Heat Wave, and if it's a special Pokemon, I'll go with Heat Wave rather than Flamethrower, because I rarely miss with Heat Wave, so it works for me as well. And also Heat Wave is a little bit stronger, just by like 5 points. And the EV spread I have is 252 in special attack and speed with 4 in HP with a timid nature. Pretty much the exact same EV spread, but instead of in physical attack, is in special attack. Now, I'm just going to move on to the next Pokemon as well, because I am on a time limit and I only have a couple minutes left, or I might have to stop and continue on in part 2. I might just put them both together. But anyways, enough of me talking. There's a special Infernape. No one expects it and just toxic to me, and it's pretty much useless for them. So next one is Machamp. Now, I do come across a lot of like fairy type Pokemon, or should I just say like Florges, or like a special Pokemon that has like Air Slash or something like that, or Psychic types. And Assault Vest Machamp is very, very good. I really love the Assault Vest Machamp set. It's the standard EV spread with max attack with an Adamant Nature, 172 in HP and 84 in speed. I just love this set to death with No Guard, Dynamic Punch, Ice Punch, Bullet Punch, and Knockoff. It's a pretty much common standard set for Machamp, because like I said, I never really used a Machamp before, and I wanted to try it out, and Machamp literally swept like a couple of teams with this set. Usually what I do is either knock off or Dynamic Punch first, just to get the confusion, and then I knock off, or sometimes I just knock off depending on like what item it is, and then Dynamic Punch just to get the the 100% confusion, and then I usually just go with Bullet Punch or Ice Punch, and that's pretty much a sweep game right there. Because usually when I come across like teams that Machamp can actually sweep, usually they outspeed me first, obviously, but it's mostly just like moves that are pretty much not super effective against Machamp, or it's just basically neutral to Machamp, and that's pretty good for me because I know I can take attacks. And Assault Vest Machamp is just pretty good. I don't know how else to explain it. It just works very well with this team. Now, I also forgot to mention with Infernape and Machamp, but if I come across like a Pokemon with Psychic types, I usually just switch out into my Absol, because it's pretty much very predictable on what my opponent's going to do, because usually they always just try to Psychic me or Dazzling Gleam me, but when I know a Psychic is coming, I just switch out to Absol, and you're pretty much golden. So there is the Machamp set. I'm actually going to move on to our last Pokemon, which is Arcanine. Now, this Arcanine is a defensive Arcanine, and it's pretty much the exact same standard set you would see as a regular Volcanine, but instead of Will-O-Wisp, I actually have Toxic on it, because it's the reason why I have Toxic over Will-O-Wisp is because that I do come across quite a few Arcanines in this tier as well, and I usually just use Toxic instead of Will-O-Wisp, just because sometimes the Arcanines do have Flash Fire, and I know that fire type attacks won't work on it, so usually what I do is Toxic it, and pretty much I'm set from right there. So that's all I really got to say about Arcanine. It's just a standard Impish, 248 in HP, 252 in defense, and 8 in attack with the leftovers and Intimidate. So that's really much I really got to say. It's just that this team pretty much is very good. I won 90% of my battles, like I said. I maybe lost once or twice just because of my stupidity. But if you guys really like this team, go and try it. It's a Yu Yu team. I actually named this team Yu Yu Master Shoe, based off Yu Yu Hakusho. But I never really seen that anime before. I might check it out later. It was just a perfect name not to actually use. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this team review, go and actually make it yourself on Showdown. But you're actually going to need to sit down and actually think about what you're going to do. You can't just click a random move and see what happens, because that was part of my stupidity. But yeah, so this is White Boy Friendly, and I'll pretty much catch you guys later in another future video.